Literally.
I appreciate you.
Oh, hey, Luis.
How are you? Just as a heads up, you're not usually this close to the microphone. These things pick up everything.
What
So.
happened to the fuzzy microphones?
I didn't put all of them on today. I didn't want to. They're all.
I like the fuzzy ones.
Well, I do it sometimes just for fun, but I mean they're not as
But they catch sound better?
sort of.
I don't know. I just totally made that up. I just kind of assumed that they did. Do they not?
They're for different situations. So like if you're outside, you want like that on there. If you're inside, it's more of the feathery ones that I have.
Yeah, I like those guys.
Yeah, I know you do.
Hey, I meant to ask you, do you watch Key and Peele?
Of course I do.
Okay, good. I figured you
Of
do.
course I watch Key and Peele.
Okay, we need to discuss our favorite sketches a little bit later. Have you seen when they're both gangsters in the car? He's like,
Hey, does water go bad?
Okay, I don't think I've seen that. I think the one I haven't seen. Oh, see, that's why. See, I'm like season 2 on. I know. There's some really good ones. There's the TSA one. I love that one. The soaring scissors. So,
All right. You good to go? And the firing zone? All right.
I'm gonna look so weird if I come to the roof.
Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and thank you. We're going to go ahead and start this meeting up at 1:18. In terms of call to order, we're going to go down the roll call. Myself, I'm here. Executive Vice President Weaver.
Here.
Vice President Borges.
here.
Vice President Mendez.
present.
Vice President Rao is over on the other campus manning our table, so she's going to be coming in a little late. It's an excused. Vice President Brown.
Here.
Vice President Westberg. Secretary Keith is an excuse as well. We have Senator Andrews.
Not here.
We have Senator Dana.
Here.
Senator Tafoya.
Here.
Senator Alvarez is excused. Senator Cepeda.
Here.
Senator Cook.
Here.
Senator Tengeluk.
Present.
Senator Galindo is excused. Senator Acosta. I didn't hear from him, so hopefully he'll come in. Senator Razzo. Senator Ledesma is excused. And then Senator Huerta Soto. Present. I do want to go ahead and inform you, as you guys may or may not have noticed down the roll call, Senator Rachel Manriquez, her name is not there, and the vacant spot is the vacant title was placed next to her. I went ahead and received a resignation letter earlier on within the last week and a half. So as of right now, that science, math, and engineering position is open. We'll go ahead and move forward with the process and see how we can expedite the filling of that spot. Vice President Westberg.
Who was not here again?
It is Raul, Keith, Alvarez, Galindo, and Ledesma.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Senator Cook.
Is there project the spring festival still going?
We need to sit down with her and see at what stage she was at in terms of planning and whether or not it's feasible to just run with it, or if it was still in the first stage or two of planning and it might not be possible to have a new person come in. But as of right now, I will let you guys know where that's at. All right? I wanted to go ahead and wait for a more formal session and go ahead and make sure that that announcement was made. Trustee Campbell. Okay. And then Speaker Reed is not here. I didn't hear from her, but Deputy Speaker William Tumblin will be here in her place, I guess. Adoption of the agenda. Please take a minute to review the agenda, and I'll entertain a motion. Vice President Brown?
I have some changes I need to make. So I have a few here. So I want to move under executive. Let me do this first. Move under finance. I want to move finance up to under minutes. Approval of previous minutes.
Okay. Give me a second. Okay, we're good. Are there any objections to that? Hearing none, we just move that up there. Yes.
I have two more.
Okay, go for it.
I want to move under executive.
Things on to that. We learned this at the parliamentary procedure. We can't do that because this needs to be reflective of Brown Act. That's part of the reason why we've moved away from adding things last minute. So we can definitely go ahead and have those things reflected on the next agenda. Okay?
You moved it finance to where?
Under minutes. So it's the first
Below,
item.
under
After minutes.
After
Yeah.
minutes. Okay. All right. So
Under
we'll,
after.
Saying we can't add the hiring of those 3 items.
no. The movement and minor changes in terms of like money and stuff like that, but completely new items, they need to be respective of the Brown Act. All right. So
One person.
yes.
Or inquiry, whichever one you choose to take it as. Could we discuss them during the comments section? Or, sorry, was it not on here? Do we know?
That wasn't part of the agenda.
Oh, during
That's something that we learned.
announcements
It has to be reflective of what's on there already.
I'll do a report.
Okay. All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and.
My hand is up.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. So the Brown Act does stipulate that you cannot add things to the agenda if you're going to take action. But if it is not action, it's one thing. And then 2, if it came to the attention of the body after the posting of the agenda, you can add it. So personally, I would like to add a debrief of the Board of Trustees meeting to the agenda, wherever you see fit. I would like an explanation about the agenda item requests, both as a member of the body and as a student, whether that's during public comment or whatever, but I would like that.
Here's the thing. Until I know further, I'm just going off of what I learned at the parliamentary procedures training, and I was told that we couldn't add anything on there. I will definitely go off and look into that, and it will be reflected on the next agenda. Okay?
So you're not going to look it up and make sure? You're just
I don't
gonna
have the time to go ahead and look it up right now.
You're going to restrict the rights of the members.
You know what, Advisor Lesoto, you viewed the video. At this time, I don't feel comfortable adding them and possibly breaking anything, even unknowingly. So I'm still moving forward with that. Is that okay with you?
That's okay with me. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys know the process, and
Until I know that, I'll definitely go ahead and consider that the next meeting.
Privilege?
Yes.
I move to have a 5-minute recess until these questions are answered.
I second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. We'll take this to a vote. All in favor of approving a 5-minute recess, please say aye. Any objections?
It's time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Division.
5, 6. All right. We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Vice President Weaver.
Yes.
Vice President Borges.
No.
Vice President Mendez.
No.
Vice President Brown.
Yes.
Vice President Westberg.
Yes.
We have Senator Andrews.
Yes.
We have Senator Dana.
Yes, is for, I'm sorry.
Come again?
5 minutes.
For the 5-minute recess?
Yes.
We have Senator Tafoya.
No.
Simple majority. All right, so we'll go ahead and take a 5-minute recess starting at 1:26. We'll come back at 1:31. All right.
Andrews has the Brown Act, I think.
Yeah, go for it. Robert, well, this is, it wouldn't be, okay. Would it be under that or would it be under the Brown Act?
Maybe you start devising it this time?
Yeah, go for it, yeah.
General. Yeah. Good. Perfect. Good job. Number 1. I saw you add me to your circle. So let me open that up. How's it going?
Because I completed the had 3.
There were one of them?
I wanted to do it. No, my wife. Yeah, let me look
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah, so
You were 14?
Yeah.
I had something pretty bad in my right apartment. One person doing a bad time.
Okay.
In my opinion, the word fulfills on that.
That's not.
He actually has it processed.
Yeah. Well, it was
Yeah.
Okay. I printed out the map. Oh yeah, and it says check it. You go check it there just to double check that they can switch your position. But as of now, basically like beginning to talk about psychotic cases. And if she
I gave Martha the card that I had, and I gave Megan the other card that I had.
out or anything, you do that. Okay, yeah, so I didn't know what I had.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
I remember it saying.
I don't remember.
administrators.
I don't remember it being said per se, but I have read in Brown Act where it says is it if something comes up after the agenda's been posted, then it can be discussed.
But not discussed.
In this section.
I don't remember the exact wording of it, but I know there's something in Brown Act that deals with it. I don't remember the exact wording if it's discussed or action being taken.
Well, we're on a 5-minute break.
I don't remember the exact wording.
Yeah.
For this one, it doesn't matter because it's not even taking action.
All works out.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, I get rest.
So I don't see why that.
Alright, Mike, I'm gonna go take my seat.
I know. I marked one of those baby zeros. Oh, you can buy it for me.
Your report.
Yeah, I remember when yours was long.
It is if you're going to take action. So it's not even 31.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's 1:31 already. We're past our 1-minute recess. Is there anything that you can provide that says that it's breaking the rules? Well, the two of you are bringing it up. My standing is the parliamentary training said we can't.
Well, I mean, I'll happily report on it, but I thought that you would have done your own research. So, based on my interpretation of the Brown Act, I have read the entire thing a couple of times now. First of all, most of these issues that were brought to the attention of the Senate after or during the adoption of the agenda section, you do not require action for. It's people just wanting to have their voices heard. So it shouldn't be an issue for you in that case anyways. And in this section, it is buried deep 54954.2 B2. It talks about if it is an item of action and it was brought to the attention of the student senate or legislative body after the posting of the agenda by a 2/3 vote, you can add it to the agenda.
Without a doubt, if somebody wants to introduce that 2/3 motion, that's totally fine with me. That's the decision of the body. If it is a student's voices being heard, I do want to point out that there is public comment where people can go ahead and voice that opinion.
These
So,
are members of the body. They can't publicly comment.
they can also bring it up during the reports. So with that, is there any other motion on the table?
I move to go to a 3/4 or a 2/3 vote on the items that were a move to put on the agenda.
Okay. Moved and seconded.
Point of clarification, what
Yeah.
exactly are we putting on the agenda and where are we putting it?
I can repeat my motion if you'd like as one.
Was it your motion or was
No,
it?
it's mine. His was informational that he said he'd report out on. Mine are motions that I'm taking.
Go.
Move under executive, formal apology to advisor Leticia Losota, and move under executive, hiring timeline, move under executive, explanation of AAR denials. And then the finance, we already handled, so that's good.
All right, so that's one whole motion to add those three things.
Well, it's like 3 items, but like I'm just giving you that's what the motions were.
What's your motion though?
Okay.
Do you want individually?
Yeah, individually.
Individually?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take a 2/3 vote on this, on what was stated individually. So all in favor of adding, what was it, the
Formal apology.
formal apology, I will go ahead and go down the list. Vice President Weaver.
Yes.
Borges.
Abstain.
Mendez.
Abstain.
Brown.
Yes.
We have Westberg.
Yes.
We have Andrews.
Yes.
Senator Dana.
To apologize to Alicia.
Yes.
Senator Tafoya.
Yes.
Senator Cepeda.
Yes.
Senator Cook.
Yes.
Senator Tingeluck.
Yes.
Senator Acosta.
He walked out.
He walked out again? Alright, he's not here, so doesn't count. Senator Razzo.
Yes.
Senator Huerta Soto.
Yes.
So that's approved. We'll go down to the next thing. What is it?
The hiring process.
The
Hiring timeline, like where are we at? It's been over a month since interviews.
Okay.
And now we have a new hiring slot.
Okay, Senator, Executive Vice President Weaver is going to report on that, but do you still want it on?
I'll leave it to her discretion.
Yeah, I'll report on that and I can, I'll report on
Okay,
that.
do you still want that on there or no?
Now she's gonna report on.
Okay, what's the next thing?
And that's The explanation of AAR denial.
AAR denial. Okay. Let's see. Weaver. AAR denial. Yes. Borges.
No.
Mendez.
No.
Brown.
Yes.
Westberg.
Yes.
Andrews.
Yes.
Dana. AAR denial.
Why people's items got down.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Then we have Tafoya.
Yes.
Zepeda.
Yes.
We have Cook.
Yes.
We have Tengaluk.
Yes.
We have Acosta. Oh, he's still outside. Razo. We have Huerta Soto.
No.
No? Alright, with that, it still passes. We'll go ahead and add those onto there. Let's see. Are there any other things that need to be added onto the agenda? Yes.
When can we talk about the Board of Trustees meeting? During my report, public comment?
You know what? That wasn't a motion, so you can definitely bring it up during your report, unless you want somebody to adopt your motion. Or do you have a recommended motion?
It's your meeting. You can add it on the agenda.
Well, you're making the request, so as of right now, if you'd like, your time of speaking would be during the reports. That would be a designated time, in my opinion. If you want to add it officially onto the agenda, we would go through the same 2/3 vote. If somebody would like to take whatever recommended motion you have.
I'll just report on it, but I want to make sure we actually get to it.
You know what? We've been going through all of our agendas, so I think we should be able to. All right. Any other amendments? Hearing none. Are there any objections to adopting the agenda as amended with, what was it? The apology and the AIR, and then the moving of finance right after the minutes? Hearing none, we've just adopted the agenda. We'll move down to public comment. Brown Act 54954.3. This segment of the agenda is reserved for members of the public to directly address the Student Senate on any matters within its jurisdiction. A time limit of 2 minutes per speaker and 10 minutes per topic will be allotted. The law does not permit any action to be taken nor extend a discussion of items not on the agenda. The Student Senate may briefly respond to comments made or questions posed. For an item to be placed on a future agenda, please contact President Rebolledo. Is there any public comment at this time? Yes.
Excuse me, my name is Mike Lenahan. I've had the privilege of being a volunteer. And I need a big request from all of you, and that's for you to keep doing the fine, outstanding job you're doing, because you're outstanding people. You're doing a great job. And even though I'm having some eye problems right now because it's March 17th, it's getting closer, everything's starting to look green because it's St. Patty's Day. But anyway, you all are doing an outstanding job. Keep up the great work, and I look forward to working with you in the coming days, because you're great people. And just keep it up, because you're great. You're doing a good job, and anything I can do to help you, please keep it up. So keep it up. You're not good people. You're all great, despite the fact that everything's looking green right now.
All right. Thank you so much.
You take care.
Thank you.
With that, is there any other public comment at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of previous minutes. They were sent out with the supporting documents. I'll go ahead and let you guys review them for a minute or two. If there are any changes, please go ahead and send them out to Secretary Keith and in a written format, and we'll go ahead and make sure to reflect them. With that being said, it was sent out on another email. Sorry. With that being said, you guys should have been able to have read them since Tuesday. I'll entertain a motion when you guys are ready.
Move to approve the previous minutes.
There's a motion. It's seconded. With that being said, any discussion on this? Hearing none. You got them? Yeah. Hearing none. If there are no objections, we'll go ahead and approve the minutes. All right. With that, the minutes have been approved. Thank you. We'll go down to finance. Thank you. So we have the budget revision for the spring 2015. Do you have copies of that, Jason?
I do not have full copies of this. I do apologize for that. As Leticia, Martha, Gregos, Luis, and everyone can tell you, we've been burning some midnight oil on this one, trying to get through it, understand the process. I can first and foremost say we're very excited to have Megan and Leticia in the office. Now we're able to provide they're able to provide printouts to myself that I can share with the Finance Committee as well as the Senate. Well, actually, I'm going to get them weekly, but they'll be reported to the Senate every time we have a Senate meeting to understand the flow of our money. Every now and then, sometimes we approve things and maybe we spend less or we don't spend at all. So that's really exciting that we're going to have that now. With that in mind, we didn't have that before, so this budget revision did involve a little bit of cleanup, as we all know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and describe this. The Finance Committee members have a copy of this, and if you guys have those and you'd be willing to, maybe we can circulate those, but it's more explanation based, and if we have questions, I'm going to be more than happy to clarify those for you guys. So bear with me here. We're focusing on account 71 first. What we're looking at here, ASMJC Presents needs $28,000 is what we need to add to that. The numbers that I'm going to give you guys based on what we need to add are based on projections of projects that student senators have brought up that are yearly. We've discussed these with Gregos and Dean Robles and everyone, and these are projected numbers, not that I certainly just came up with myself, but based on projects that are coming up. So with ASMJC Presents, we have $28,000 that we need additionally. Cultural Diversity has $5,000 that we are able to take and reallocate to make a more sound budget. Special projects, you'll see right below, $34,000 is what's needed. You can see right there, there's a lot of planned events, and that's how we came to that number. Moving to the second row, benefits program needs $15,000. Equipment, this number is high, it's $55,000, but that number is derived from the library laptop project being brought about, the copiers that we are discussing buying, as well as the desktop PCs. I'm well aware that those items aren't approved, and we can't say for sure, but it'd be very difficult to reallocate that money if we do approve those as the Senate. So that's why those are there, and we can figure that out as we go, but just to make sure that has enough money in it. Food and hospitality, we need $5,000, and is what we need in that one. So, down below, for those of you who have a sheet to look at, in the left-hand box, 71, we see $5,000 from cultural diversity, $8,000 from stipends, $3,000 from office supplies, totaling $16,000. This money is money that was decided on. These numbers were come to, again, with the collaboration of myself, Dean Robles, Leticia, and Gregos as account line items that had excess funds. So we took enough not to, leave them with nothing, but what we project will not be used. Did you have a question?
Whenever you're done, yeah.
So with that, there's $16,000. That $16,000 will be used to supplement benefits program to leave that in a sound state. The other line items will be taken from reserves. From my understanding and discussing things with Gregos and everyone else, taking from reserves is not uncommon within our organization. I know it's not something that we want to make a habit of doing, but it's a situation we find ourselves in and somewhere we're at. So those numbers that we just discussed, starting with the 28,000 and moving across, will be coming from reserves. The $16,000 will cover benefits programs. So equipment, food hospitalities, special projects, and ASMJC Presents will be taking money from reserves to supplement those to get to the necessary funds. That number is going to total about $130,000. There's room for cushion within that, but that's where we stand on 71. We can discuss 72 in a moment, but I know this is kind of difficult possibly to comprehend considering it took us like 2 weeks just to wrap our minds around it. What questions or what thoughts can I clarify? Yes, Leticia.
I think we missed one event, which I don't think I see it over here. Tell me if I'm not correct. The Modesto event.
We discussed that at some point, did we not? There was a reason.
I don't think I see it over here, but maybe we can also take that money into consideration because
It is there.
It is there?
It's there.
It's the
No.
b-ball tournament.
That's the basketball.
Basketball.
Because when are we paying for the best donuts?
Well, technically, or may I answer?
Yeah.
Okay, so how me, Gregos, and Martha have all worked out the situation, and how it works is this. If we approve the money now, and we can spend it now, but how we're spending it is we're taking that money and we're moving it into a prepaid account, and then once the fiscal year has changed, we can use the money that's already in the prepaid account before the fiscal year, after, however we choose to do it. That'll pay off from this year's budget, the event that's happening, and the leftovers go into the next year's budget as would normally if it would happen. Does that make sense?
To clarify for that, the way I'm seeing that, as a finance person, obviously the budget reflects each fiscal year. So what that's going to do is, yes, this year we're going to add, how much is the event again?
Well, the money requested was $5,100. The roughly spent so far is going to be $4,600, but we're also looking into reserving buses because Martha did have a concern on students carpooling, and since we only reserve 50 spaces, we're going to try and reserve a bus. So
what is the number that we need?
The total number is $5,100, and we're going to try to. We're not going to exceed that, and some of that will go back into the accounts after the fiscal change.
So that would set $5,100 that we would take that hit in this fiscal year, but the idea would be that we're paying for next fiscal year, and the next fiscal year they'll go ahead and reload that account, and it'll be a repeating action. So you're just setting yourself up a year in advance. Personally, I see no problem doing that. Yeah, it adds a bit to our expenditures this year, but it begins a path of sound financial practices and decisions moving forward, and gives a little bit of guidance for events like that. I see no problem with adding that $5,100. Did you have anything else?
Yeah, and if I may clarify, just to, I want to be really specific on this. Once the money's moved over, whatever is left over from that account will go back into the next fiscal budget. Like money not spent going into the next budget, it's the same practice.
Absolutely, and then okay, perfect. So with that,
so that $5,100 he's talking about for prepaid is coming from is coming from where?
I'm sorry. It's coming out of, I believe it's ASMJC Presents or Special Projects. I don't have the budget right in front of me, but it'll be out of those two since those are our big portion accounts.
Okay.
And when does that need to be paid?
It can be paid at any point in time. The general manager has, we've been discussing, we've worked out the options. I know this is an agenda item, I'm sorry for prolonging it. It just needs to be paid as soon as possible so someone else doesn't take the spot and or offer because we don't have to pay the deposit.
What are we?
Well, I'd like to.
July 3rd, if I'm not
The event's
mistaken,
July
right?
3rd. Yes, I'd like to get the paperwork processed Tuesday and a check cut Thursday, so we know that we guaranteed have the deck, and we can start sponsoring this event, getting the names out. However, President Rubio wants to work the sponsor.
Okay, so we would need to add that $5,100 in to this year. Personally, I would say that probably come out of ASMJC Presents. We could add that in. Another clerical note within this, as I said, we haven't had these figures, so that's why it's prolonged this budget revision. But now that we have them, this budget revision is hopefully going to set us up for the rest of the year. But Gregos has been very understanding that we may need to have another one in a few months. We by no means want to get in the practice of doing bi-monthly budget revisions, but if necessary, so as we read these numbers, don't fear that, oh no, we'll never be able to reallocate any money again. This is our final set in stone numbers. If something comes up that's just out of the ordinary, we need money, we will be able to reallocate money just to kind of put those fears at ease. Do we have any other clarifying questions or any ways I can clarify this for you guys?
I have a question, but I don't know if I'm...
Go for it.
Okay, I understand. It's my second time. See, because throughout my term, I've always wondered how taking from the reserves works, and I don't need an explanation right now on how the process worked. But if you could just provide that information to the members of the body, so
how we get it from the reserves?
how does the process of getting it from the reserves, moving it around? The reason for that question is I'd like to, whatever our annual budget is, I'd like to see how we can fluctuate with it to have the money already from the reserve when we start the term, and without depleting over the year. So this way, it's not a negative number, but we still have a little wiggle room.
Absolutely. Moving it from the reserves, simple. It's an expenditure transfer. We work with Gregos. It requires explanation, approval, the general steps to approve anything, and how that will just work is ASMJC Reserves is its own line item. We would take money from that account, we'd put it in whatever account is needing the funds. Fairly simple, and yes, it will help. Again, we saw at the beginning of this year forming the budget, we had a little trouble. We ended up kind of just going off of last year's, so that's why the budget is kind of out of whack.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll definitely get to her. And then the practice is hopefully we can leave a good footnotes behind for the next Vice President of Finance instead of more sound budget.
Okay.
Luis, it's your meeting. I'll let you go ahead and.
Vice President Weaver.
I'm just curious if there's going to be like a formal report sent out to the Senate.
Yes, there will. Yes, there will. There will be a formal report on the logic behind everything. There will be a list of each of these events typed up and sent out saying, you know, the number that we're taking from reserves is going to be with the 5,100. That would take it up to about 33,000, and that is because X, Y, and Z. These events are projected and giving that out. Again, I do apologize, and I understand the unprofessional nature of it, but I also understand that if we aren't able to approve this, bills are going to continue to be unpaid, and I think that is far more, looks a little worse on us than us doing this way. Because again, we can reallocate this money, and if we end up not approving these things, that's fine, I'll take the hit. We'll have too much money in the budget, and I'm the one who will look like an idiot, not you guys. So that's kind of nice for you guys to have that safety net. I'm okay with that. Really, this is just to make sure ASMJC can pay their bills and continue to work professionally with our partner organizations.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question would be, since that last topic was on the 5,100, and again, sorry to prolong it, since it was already approved and it may not have been added to the budget, does that mean we have, does it mean that we can still take the money out since it's been approved, or do we have to wait for a budget revision to put this into works? Because it has been approved.
You can't put that into works until the budget revision happens because there's no money in it.
At all?
Nothing can happen right now.
Okay.
Until this is approved.
Okay, but I'm saying if we approve the budget revision,
if we approve the budget
then
revision,
we still have the opportunity.
We approve the budget revision. I'll send an expenditure transfer to Gregos. You'll send your thing in, and as soon as Gregos processes that, yours gets processed, everyone else gets processed, and we just keep on living life swimmingly.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the two go hand in hand.
Okay, so it's still pretty much good to go then.
Yeah.
All right.
Vice President Borges.
I move to approve the budget revision.
Second.
Moved and seconded. What was the recommendation from the Finance Committee?
Hello, everyone.
Positive recommendation.
All right, with that, we'll move. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor of approving the budget revisions of spring 2015, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? With that, it's been passed, and we'll send that report out. Now we'll go ahead and move on to item 2. I know we have a couple guests, so we'll try to expedite this as quickly as possible. Item 2, not to exceed 1,300 Eternity Technologies for one response voting equipment out of 71 equipment. This is Christian Galindo's project. Unfortunately, he's not here, so I'll speak about it really quickly. If we can pull up the supporting docs. The once response voting equipment. So essentially at the last General Assembly, and for those of you that attended the fall General Assembly, maybe you can shed some light on your experiences for this. There were 130 plus schools that were voting on different pieces of legislation. As you can imagine, getting 22 people to go ahead and vote and tallying those votes up is somewhat hard. Imagine 130 plus. So they had these little cards where they had 3 or 4 buttons, and each button represented a yes, a no, or an abstention. We can set it up however we want to, but nonetheless, those cards were attached to a name, and the whole concept behind that is that with the 30 cards that we're buying initially right now, we would have one for every member, every voting member of the Senate, tied with their name, and then we would be able to go ahead and project how the votes happened. So for example, earlier, less than 10 minutes ago, we had a division and we had to go through each person's name. All we would have to do is pull up that vote, and we would open up the voting, and then we'd close it. It would give us instant statistics on who voted which way, and what the percentages were if we need a 2/3 vote or a simple majority. With that, I'll entertain a motion on the floor. Did you raise your hand? Senator Razzo? Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded. We'll have discussion on this. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor of approving item 2 under finance, please say aye. Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? With that, the motion carries. We'll move on to item 3, which is not to exceed $6,000 it's been changed from the finance, but right now it's $6,000 to young farmers for the Animal Science Livestock Show team out of 71 ASMJC Presents. We have the proposal up on the overhead, and then I'll cede the floor to the Ag Department that we have here.
Hello everyone, thank you for your time. I'm Tyler Batchelder. I'm obviously a student here at MJC. I'm involved in the Ag Department. I'm from Orland, California, and really one of the main reasons I came to MJC was because of opportunities that they have, like with the show team and things like that. And so, real quick, we're asking for a little bit of money that we need in order to fund this, and we got about 35 or 40 students that are interested in being on the MJC show team, and it's a great opportunity for students to learn about the livestock industry. And I would have never gotten into showing livestock if the opportunity was never made available to me. And I think that's really what we're doing here for our MJC students. It's available to anyone, ag student or not. That's really all I have to say on that.
My name's Cameron Rocha. I'm from Newman, down the road. This is my third year here at MJC, and I'll be transferring to Fresno State. In the fall, I'm an animal science and ag business major. And to tie off of what Tyler was talking about, that the students that are involved with the opportunity that people such as yourselves give us to participate in these activities, the students raise the animals. The animals are owned by the school at the facilities here on West Campus. The students work with the animals, feed the animals, learn all different aspects about showing livestock, presenting their animal to the best of their ability. So that, like Tyler said, that's another reason why I came to MJC, were the different opportunities and activities where I could learn more about the industry. In addition, it's just the students that participate in this, the 35, 40 students, they are some of the best ambassadors that could be here for MJC to show off how great of a school this is with the Ag Department and MJC as a whole. So it's really just great to make connections, network, recruit high school students. At these shows, there's a variety of all different people in the industry, prospective students, and the list goes on. So yeah, it's really a great opportunity for the kids and a good publicity for MJC as a whole.
Hi, my name is Lauren Ivy. I'm from Salinas, California. My parents actually just moved out to Virginia, and I chose to stay here for this ag department. I just want to reiterate what they said, that this is open to students beyond our ag department. We do have an application process, so kids from either their campus, no matter what their major is, are welcome to come and apply to be on the show team, and then they're able to go out and go to the show. And like they said, it's a collegiate jackpot, and so it's not only MJC, but there's other universities and junior colleges. Fresno State comes, Chico comes, Cal Poly, and so all these schools are able to come and see how we're doing here at Modesto. And then on the flip side, we're able to go and network with not only the teachers and students at other universities, but livestock representatives there as well.
All right, thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion really quickly.
If we could also, from the Finance Committee side, we did give a positive recommendation. We also added the stipulation that their meals be up by $700 to reflect that of the per diem that every other club utilizes when they take trips. We had that, and then also we asked, and the Ag Department was more than willing to report back on how they do, i.e. pictures, a presentation, and giving the student senate, as well as, since it's broadcasted, all the students an opportunity to see kind of where their money went and how it benefited the students. So that was the Finance Committee side.
Thank you. With that, do we have a motion on the floor? You do? Vice President Brown?
I move to approve not to exceed 6,000 to young farmers. 6,000 is the correct updated
6,700 is the updated number.
Okay, do we need to change it first?
We have to make a motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my first motion will be I move to amend line item number 3 under finance to read not to exceed 6,700.
Second. Moved and seconded. Yes.
I would like to have you explain a little bit about the emergency meeting that was called for the finance. I'm just wanting to understand the reasonings behind the emergency meeting. That was, and then also with that.
This isn't to the motion on the floor.
Yeah, because they have to approve it before it can be approved, and he just gave his recommendation. So before that recommendation stands to go and move this through, I would like to have that explanation. That's my objection.
Vice President Mendez.
Again, as I said, with the budget revision, that's really kind of been really all Leticia and I and everyone's been focusing on, just because, like I said, we needed to get it done. We couldn't wait 2 more weeks because we took into account processing. We had posted an agenda for yesterday's meeting. Unfortunately, due to some mix-ups and the date being wrong in the body of the agenda, which Senator Andrews enlightened me today that apparently it's just the header that matters. So unfortunately, we're able to have it yesterday. We felt that the urgency to have that budget revision done constituted an emergency meeting. In addition to that, we also felt that we put the Senate agenda items on the agenda just in the idea of if we have our committee here and if we end up having time, I personally didn't know if we were going to have time, we were going to review them. But if not, we could just move it off to the next time. And I suppose if it does cause that much of an issue, I know in the past we've had Senate meetings where the Finance Committee has met afterwards, and then we've approved it after that. And if it means, if it does fall more in line with what you feel comfortable with, we can go ahead and vote on this, and then Finance can meet again on Monday or Tuesday, and we can just repeat our steps again. I'm sure we can find time if we want to ask everyone to find the time to do that, and that works. I guess we could, but that's what constituted the emergency meeting. Matter of time, and everyone's pretty busy, so we were able to get everyone in the room and went ahead and went on the set agenda items too. So.
All right, Vice President Brown.
Okay, Leticia, may I? Okay. I would like to amend my motion to read not to exceed $6,700 to young farmers for the Animal Science Livestock Show Team. Move to approve, I may add. Pending the approval of the Finance Committee with authority.
Okay.
So the reason for this is if we approve the money now, it'll be sent to the Finance Committee, and if they approve it as well, then they have the authority to make this.
We've actually already approved it.
Oh, so then.
Yeah,
so
we've approved everything in the Finance meeting today.
Yeah.
So now what are we confused about if it's been approved?
She's more worried about the meeting being called emergency meeting today.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I don't know what motion I'm making now.
Even though it was the per diem, it was raised from 6,000 to 6,700. And in emergency meetings, no matter how you word it, you can't raise funds, you can't change those numbers, and it was changed. So that's where my concern
You can move the amendment to the authority.
It was called an emergency meeting, and that number was changed from 6,000 to 6,700. So I just wanted to voice that concern.
Without debate, would my motion...
Hold on a second. Advisor La Solda?
Adding to what Jason said, also, to my understanding, there was some accounts that are negative. So there is those accounts may go into collections. So we need to take action on the budget revision.
Also, if I may, our stipulation was it was a stipulation added on, more as a recommendation. I guess we could have worded that a little bit. We didn't amend that. We approved with the stipulation that be added, more saying that we wanted it to be just so it didn't come back on us as saying, why didn't you give them as much? So that was a stipulation, not an amendment. The amendment's being made here.
Thank you for that clarification.
All right. What's your perfected motion?
My perfected motion is I move to approve not to exceed $6,700 to young farmers for the Animal Science Livestock Show Team out of 71 with full authority from approval of finance.
Okay. Do we have a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Deputy Speaker.
You guys, as you know, the Ag Department is number 5th in the state of California, and then what we do, we had a educational conference where we took students, 80 students, to view the Ag Department, and out of that 80 students, 20 of those students would like to go into the Ag Department. So this is right here what these young men and women are trying to do. Is not just educate themselves, but to bring back the education for other students on campus to understand what the Ag Department is about. So this is a great opportunity for all of us to understand and get some education about this department. It's not a department, you have to remember this department is run, they never asked us for anything. So they're asking us to help make sure these young people go to this show. So that's all they're doing.
All right, thank you. Discussion?
Love the presentation.
Oh, thank you. Really good presentation. All right, is there any more discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor of approving item 3, which now reads not to exceed $6,700 to young farmers for the Animal Science Livestock Show team out of 71 ASMJC presents with full authority from the Finance Committee. Please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? With that, the motion passes. Congratulations.
And Luis, I just because I gotta head back to work. I took a 2-hour lunch today, so I'm gonna head back and get back to you.
Thank you. All right. With that, we'll move on to item 4. Oh, that's weird. All right. It should be item 4, not to exceed $16,000 for spring 2015 General Assembly on May 1st through the 3rd on 2015 out of 72 travel, 72 seminar conventions, and 72 meals and lodging. If we can pull that up, it should be the next one down. One more. All right. So this is a joint venture between Vice President Borges and myself. If you have anything to add on, just let me know. We're looking at taking 14 students and 2 advisors onto this. It's pretty self-explanatory when it comes down to the budget breakdown in terms of this. We're looking at about taking 3 vehicles. The price that's reflected is enterprise rates. We don't know exactly whether or not the vehicles are available for that particular day from our facilities department, so we want to make sure that at least we budget for enterprise. We have the hotel prices. These are based off of the DoubleTree, which is the closest hotel to the convention center, and then of course the per diem as a breakdown per each day based off of 16 people. It comes out to $15,165. There's the budget covers any additional unexpected costs and an advertising portion of it, which isn't reflected in the budget, but you can definitely go ahead and do that. With that, do we have a motion on the floor?
Move to.
Go ahead.
Move to approve item 4 under finance.
Object.
It's been moved.
Wonder what grounds? Under the grounds of the fact that we're only taking 16. We didn't it hasn't been discussed. You know, maybe we want to take more people. We still have time before registration closes.
We're taking 14 students.
Okay,
Oh,
so
14, yeah, 16
we're
total.
taking 14 students, and the reason they came up with this number is that also is graduation day.
Mhm.
So we feel that 14 is a more accurate number.
Out of 23,000? 22,000 students are all graduating that day, and only 14 can go? Not to cause debate.
Yeah, if we can limit that. And look, it's graduation day. The reality of people willing to miss their graduation, walking the stage to go to a conference, no matter how important it might be to each individual person, are more than likely slim to none. On top of that, this also respects our budget because when we went ahead and factored in the full 20 students plus the 22 advisors, it was coming into about $22,000. $22,000, which quite frankly we do not have at this time. Sure, we can start pulling even more money from reserves, but we're trying to be fiscally responsible here. Do you still want to go ahead and uphold your objection?
May I ask?
You can't really object because there's
You can object after a second.
but you can object to the consideration of the question, but why?
Because this is barely being brought to us. It's already been added to a budget after we haven't approved it yet. Like, okay, so it's been added to the budget, correct? The budget revisions.
Bring up in debate. These are points you
Well, you asked me what my reason for objection is, so I
All
have
right,
to
let's go
discuss
ahead and
it.
take this to a vote. Let's limit debate. Let's take this to a vote. An objection to a consideration of a motion needs a 2/3 vote. We'll go ahead and do this. So we're voting on the objection of the motion to approve. If you vote yes, you object. It means you don't want to go ahead and vote on this. If you vote no, it means we'll go ahead and move forward with the motion, which is to approve. So again, if you vote yes on the objection, you don't want to vote on this. If you vote no, you still want to move forward with it. Vice President Weaver.
Yes.
Vice President Borges.
No.
Vice President Brown.
Yes.
Vice President Westberg.
Yes.
Senator Andrews. Senator Dana.
Yes.
Senator Tafoya. Senator Cepeda,
Yes.
Senator Cook,
No.
Senator Tengeluk,
No.
Senator Galindo. Senator Acosta.
Yes.
We have Senator Razzo, Senator Huerta Soto.
No.
So with that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yeses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 no's with us. With that, your objection dies, and we'll keep on with the motion. What?
Does
Yes.
the deputy speaker get a chance to vote?
No.
No, you don't get a vote. I'm sorry. So with that, your objection dies, and we'll move forward with the motion. Any discussion on this item? Senator Andrews.
I have a question about we're under hotels and the figures that you've got there. Why do
Yeah.
you have, why is it room slash, like, you're supposed to say one night, 960 at 1440, then right underneath it, room slash, like, 4 night, 4 quantity, 1440 for 5760. That doesn't add up to me, and I'm sitting here scratching my head trying to figure it out. Why does that look so off to me?
Yeah. So what ends up happening is the first line is all 9 rooms for 1 night, which comes out to $1,440, and then we multiply that total times 4 nights because we have to get there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that's the total. Okay. All right. Senator Tengeluk.
Okay, so my reasoning for voting no is because I went last semester and we barely had enough to go. So regarding the fact this graduation day, I don't think it's going to be that much going.
Okay.
And that's why I voted no.
All right. Thank you. Trustee Campbell.
When will be the next Student Senate meeting and Legislation Committee meeting?
It will. Student Senate and Ledge meetings are on the same week, so it will be the weekend of the 27th.
Okay.
Trustee Campbell.
So, do you have a delegation list? Because in the Constitution and bylaws, as I would hope you know, it says that the delegation list to go to the General Assembly has to be approved by both the Legislation Committee and the Student Senate. Last General Assembly, that did not happen.
No, we do not have a list as it is right now. What we are going to do is once this is approved, whether or not it is approved, the applications and all of the supporting documents for this are going to be sent out first thing Monday morning. Vice President Borges.
Yeah, I don't believe we need a list to approve the money that we're going to spend. Okay, yeah. But yeah, the legislation committee will meet not next Monday is the election subcommittee of the election, and then the Monday after that is going to be the legislative committee. I hope to have applications sent out maybe sometime next week, and we can start reviewing them over our meeting, and that way we are able to have a finalized list hopefully by our next Senate meeting, and if not, the meeting after that, so that way we can all vote on it. You guys will be able to have a set list of who's going.
All right. Vice President Brown. Okay. Executive Vice President Weaver.
I'm wondering about what you say about the application process. Has that been ratified for this body as how our process? Because I know it's been used in the past, but I don't remember the Senate voting on that's the procedure that we want to use.
Nothing's been brought to the table, so until further notice, then that's what we will be using. Vice President Brown.
My question was, and directed to legislation as well, is this a first come, first served basis, as in like anyone can apply? And will the applications being sent out be student-wide, Senate-wide, ICC-wide? How's that going?
So
Okay. So usually for these conferences, we try to focus on students who have not gone before, so that they have, they're able to experience this. But I mean, it'll be student-wide. I mean, anyone can go. It's all public funds for them to go. But the application process is made to see whoever's the most qualified to go.
Okay.
So that's what the application, of course, is going to be out for everybody. But that doesn't, just because anyone applies does not mean anyone's able to go.
Yeah. Let's go.
So you said you'll be sent, or the statement was made that it'll be sent out Monday. Is that statement in reference to student-wide email? And does the and if my understanding is correct, qualifications are if you've gone, you can't go? Is that what we're looking at?
The requirements are going to be stated in that email as well. I can tell you that more than likely it's going to be a similar version of the application that we sent out for Fall GA just because it's a working template. Whether or not it's going to be sent out campus-wide, I do not have an answer to that for you for that. Well, hold on. The reason being, we have a hard time going out and sending campus-wide emails. I can assure you that it will be sent out Senate-wide. Speaker Reed is attached to that email server list. When she receives that information, what she decides to do with that, I'll leave it to her discretion. And with that being said, advertisement and flyers have already been sent out, so we will be printing those out and distributing them as well. Okay.
Point of personal privilege. If flyers are being sent out before we've approved money, and where did the money for the flyers come from?
They're being sent out Monday to duplicating.
Oh, is that in the budget?
But no, it's not. Like I stated earlier, it's not in the it's not reflected in the budget, but there is $1,600 there. That's where that will be coming from. Okay. Executive Vice President Weaver.
I would like you to direct the Vice President Borges to come up with the application process, come up with an ad hoc committee to oversee the decision-making over those application process, and bring it to this body and allow this body to review and adopt that.
That's what we're going to do.
Okay. Can we keep debate across the table to a minimum? Thank you. With that being said, do we have any further discussion on this item? Senator Andrews.
What's the difference between student and delegate?
The pricing it comes down to a general student is being charged $285. The delegate gets a discounted rate at $190. Plus the delegate gets to go ahead and vote at General Assembly. One thing really quickly, the prices reflected here are the full price. If we miss a deadline, the first deadline for a reduced price is April 16th, which we get a discounted rate. I don't expect us to miss that deadline, but for some reason, if we do, this is the full price that's being reflected on the budget.
I'm not referring to in a fiscal manner. I'm talking to in a actual person manner. What's the difference between a student and a delegate?
The delegate gets the vote.
The delegate gets to vote, and I'm not 100% sure other than that. Okay. Yeah. Trustee Campbell.
How will the delegate be chosen?
You know what? It's usually, yeah.
Well, just bringing that up, I'll have a separate it'll be we'll have the same application for everybody, and then I'll have a question on there that says if you would like to be the delegate, explain your reasoning why, and whoever out of the pool that answers the questions, the legislative committee and I will decide who becomes the delegate, because traditionally it's the president, but I don't believe you're going because you're going to be graduating, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So
boy.
that is.
All right. Thank you. Is it really important? I know I think you're on your third item for this thing. So what's going on? Yeah.
So my question is, it says 2 advisors. The reason I bring up this question is with my events, the only advisor technically is Leticia, and anyone else is not considered an advisor because they don't have an advisor title. Because I was like, oh, who are we going to bring to the baseball game? And they're like, oh, well, you don't have an advisor. John Griffin's not an advisor. Megan's not an advisor. So Leticia's an advisor. So are we going to hire a new advisor before we go? Or how is Martha going to define the advisor for this trip but not mine?
An advisor, to my understanding, is a certificated person. The certificated portion of it comes in if whether or not they can teach a class. One of the avenues that we're looking at is bringing in an advisor from one of the clubs.
We're using advisor as a name to give somebody as like somebody who's guiding us as far as that goes, not as their title as advisor. Is that to clarify?
According to Martha, on trips it has to be an advisor. Just showing what I was told.
I can tell you that we're looking at club advisors and other certificated personnel around campus. Okay. With Senator Andrews. Move to previous question. Do we have a second? Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Any discussion on this? Hearing none. All in favor of moving to the previous question, please say aye. Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Vice President Brown. With that, the move to the previous question passes, and we're on the main motion, which is move to approve item. Where am I? Item 4. Yeah, item 4.
That was the main motion. We just approved it. It's not marked
4.
Yeah. Well, it should be item 4, but we go back to the motion.
This one.
Yeah.
What?
It was moved to the previous question. It passed, so now we're on the main motion. Okay. So now we're on the main motion, which was move to approve item 4. It doesn't say 4, but it should say 4. Under finance, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Senator Andrews and Senator Brown.
Vice President Brown.
Oh, Vice President Brown, sorry. Oh, and Westberg. Any abstentions? All right, hearing none, with that, the motion passes. We'll move on to, let's see, it should be item 5. We'll just keep on going through the list, which is not to exceed $5,000 to Enterprise Car Rental for open purchase order. This is a similar item with what we do with Costco, for example. There's no supporting docs for this. It's similar to what we do with Costco and any other of our local vendors. What ends up happening is that for the last couple months, we've been using the district purchase order for Enterprise. We want to go ahead and open our own with them, so that way we just have one running tally of what we owe them. So it's a little easier to keep track of our bills. With that being said, if you guys have any questions on this, let me know. Well, I'll entertain a motion. Do we have a motion on the floor? What's the recommendation on the finance? It's been positive. I'll entertain a motion on the floor. Senator Razzo. Do we have a second? It's been moved and seconded. We'll open it up for discussion. Is there any discussion at this time? Hearing none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor of approving the open purchase order of not to exceed $5,000 to Enterprise, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? With that, the motion carries. Yes.
Who made that motion? Sorry.
It was Senator Razzo, and it was just seconded. It was, I don't even remember who's, oh, it was Senator Cook who seconded it, but. So there. We'll move on to the not to exceed $5,000 to facilities for transportation open purchase order. So similar along the lines of the Enterprise open purchase order, we pay 32 cents. We usually pay 32 cents for the vans. That's our usual mode of transportation. And it's just a good faith open purchase order to let them know that we have them in mind when it comes down to paying our bills. And that way we won't get caught up whether or not we have those funds allocated. So what's the recommendation from the finance?
Positive.
It's positive. With that, I'll entertain a motion. Yes. Oh, do we have a motion? Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I move to approve item number 6 under finance.
Moved and seconded. Discussion.
Okay, so we don't have any, this is just for an open order purchase, right?
Yes.
So we don't have any sort of documentation of any of it right now?
No.
Okay, is there ever documentation to ever have this?
What do you mean by documentation?
Like, so usually there's supporting documents, this does not need that?
No. Similar to the Costco purchase order that we approved during our first Senate meeting and the subsequent ones, it's just a formality. This is something new. Just because as we have updated all of our accounting procedures, they want more accountability to track what vehicles we use per event.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Any Senator Razzo?
Is there any contracts being signed when you do this?
No. To my knowledge, no, not right now. Yeah. Any contract should follow the similar procedure with Teresa Scott and the appropriate people. Yeah. Vice President Brown.
So my question is, and I hate to word it like, how does this purchase order work? Because you kind of just explained that. But like, is this going to be a new light item on the budget, or like, say we take a trip, how do we access this purchase order? Like, can you just describe the process for me and any other interested members?
We would go off and reflect it based off of your budget breakdown. So, for example, on General Assembly, we would be taking the money for transportation out of line item 72, travel. If it's a senator project, it would be built into the special projects line item, for example.
That doesn't make sense. I don't know if it's just me. So we're approving money, and we're going to be putting it into one of those two.
We're not approving money. We're approving us moving forward with this paperwork, engaging in this mutual understanding between both enterprise and facilities.
So like setting it aside, like, hey, if we need you, we'll let you know.
Yeah, it just shows
we're
them
not
that
putting it in a line item anyway.
No, we're not.
Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Yeah. Where's the money coming from? What line item does it go under?
It doesn't.
It doesn't?
It's all respective to the
Magically
to the
floats
event.
around.
Yeah. Similar to Costco.
Interesting.
Hello, job.
Okay. I'm just because everything else has it, so that's part of Kyle's question. So
Okay.
Thank you, Kyle.
Welcome, John.
All right. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor of approving not to exceed $5,000 to facilities for a transportation open purchase order, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? With that, the motion carries. We'll move on to item, what is it? 7, not to exceed $23,000 for ASMJC office desktop computers out of 71 equipment.
We have this.
We have this.
Okay. Not that one. This one.
Yes. So, like I reported earlier on, these are some of the conversations that I went ahead and had before we passed it, I think. No worries. It should be below that.
We're so confused.
More down? No, that's for the laptops. Go down. For the desktop.
Oh,
It's a Dell purchase.
Oh, okay. I went to laptops.
Okay.
My bad, guys.
You know what? It doesn't have the budget breakdown. Can I? No, I printed the whole darn thing out, and it doesn't actually say. If I email it to you, if I email it,
Yeah.
Can you project it?
It says please add item to your next. Right there is where it says for the. Perhaps. But that's not the breakdown though.
No, it's here. I'm sending it to you.
30-second recess.
So just to we keep this thing rolling, these are some of the communications that I had before the winter break about updating our equipment that we have. Both we saw a presentation on the printers, for example. This would actually go ahead and replace our desktops that we have on each respective campus. We're looking at getting 24 desktop computers. It would be a breakdown of about 17 over on the east campus and 7 over on this west campus. And this whole order has been vetted through our IT department, and we will be going through the Dell contract that we have in place. This is their recommendation based off of their expertise and the requirements that we usually go through. Each machine ends up costing $872.92. Again, this is just one of the. If any of you guys have any experience working with the computers on our campuses, in our offices, the minute we try to open up a Word document or a purchase order or anything like that, they tend to freeze up. So this would just make things a lot easier for us. So I'll entertain a motion. Senator Acosta?
I move to approve item 6, right?
Yes.
Not to exceed $23,000 for ASMJC office desktop computers from 71 office supplies.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second. Yeah, it's number 7.
Yeah. Well, we'll change that because I know that there's the formatting issue, but we'll read the whole thing out. Is there a second? Been moved and seconded. Discussion. Trustee Campbell.
So who asked Mr. Miller to get this quote?
I did.
Why are you directing the MSR technician to get quotes on his time for you?
Because he's part of our supporting staff. It's something well within
But he's not your direct employee. I'm fine with the item. I just am concerned about how this information was gathered. Like, we have an IT department through the district where you could have gotten resources there, but you contacted one of the ASMJC staff members who has a job of running this building and asked him to take up his time to get this information.
Okay. Is there any clarification that you need on that, or
no?
Just a statement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on this item? Vice President Brown.
Real quick, what's gonna happen to the old computers?
Pretty much, we're looking at the usual route is that the IT department goes ahead and takes them, and because there are public funds involved in this, it kind of murks the water of whether or not we can give them away. But once we engage in that conversation and we actually have the potential of having this money approved, we'll go ahead and get a better answer for you on that. Vice President Westbrook.
Question.
Yes.
Do we have money in the account to do that?
It's been reflected. It's been reflected in the budget revision. Yeah.
I have spoken in regards to when the library did their upgrade. I spoke with Jeff Swank, who's also on the Facilities Council, and I can tell you with 100% guarantee that you cannot just give them to people who need them, that they have to either be recycled or they have to be repurposed into something else on the campus because of, like you said, public funds or anything like that. So if there was someplace on campus where they could be used for something like that, such as, you know, Senator Cook's E-Tech Club or something like that, or if you wanted to use it for a learning capability or something like that, you could probably reuse them there. But other than that, you can't just give them away.
Alright, so the budget's being reflected right now on the projector within a minute or two. Any further discussion on this item? Vice President Brown.
Just clarification, my question was like, would we giving them to the library? I know that was something brought up, I think, between Senator Acosta and myself, was like taking them, putting them to the library by chance. So that's where my statement came from, just for clarification on like what would be the process if we could find another route instead of throwing them away.
I don't know the answer to that, what we would do with them. I can tell you that the library has already had pretty much all their computers replaced. So they have much better equipment than we do. Senator Dana.
As I mentioned in the Finance Committee, I had heard in the E-Tech Club that they were thinking about starting a program for seniors to teach them how to use computers and navigate their way. And I thought it would be a good idea to donate them in that fashion if a class was created or some type of program. I don't know if Jake knows more about Senator Cook, more about if that can be used in that way. But I had suggested that instead of just them being recycled.
All right, thank you. Vice President Borders?
I think this is definitely something we can bring up at a later date as far as what we do with them, but I want to just keep in mind there is just one simple fact that the reason we're getting rid of them and replacing them is because they are outdated. So, you know, a lot of people don't necessarily, if you're going to, you know, give it away or put it somewhere else on the campus, they're not going to want outdated equipment, and they want to be able to run quickly. So that's just an idea to keep. But as far as a fiscal matter goes, I think that's what we need to more focus in on, whether or not we should be spending this kind of money for the computer, which I think is needed at our campus right now.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor of approving not to exceed $23,000 for ASMJC office desktop computers out of 71 office supplies, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? With that, the motion carries. We'll move on to, item 7/8. We'll just keep with the numbering and I'll read the whole motion out. Is it 8? Yeah. I'll read the whole line item thing. So it's not to exceed $2,000 for locking storage containers for ASMJC video equipment out of 71 equipment. I'll go ahead and cede the floor to Vice President Westberg for this.
Okay. My stick up. So this item, as I switch to better camera. There we go. Okay, this item, this is for basically, right now we don't have this. This would be very helpful for the people next year, aka Jake looking at you, to be able to wheel this equipment around. The reason it's $2,000, even though the subtotal right on Alex's forehead is around 1,000. The reason for 2,000 is because shipping on these things is shipping charges apply. So we're trying to cover the shipping there. Yeah, that's about it. Pretty simple. Any question?
We'll entertain a motion. Do we have a motion on the floor? Been moved. Do we have a second? All right. With that, discussion.
I will.
Deputy Speaker.
With that $2,000, where's it supposed to come from? It's not in the budget.
Equipment.
Equipment.
Yeah, it's
It's part of it. Yeah. All right. Senator Cook.
Yeah, I was just making sure we knew this would fit all of our equipment. Are we just buying random chests, or did you make sure that we can?
Yes, our team in ASMJC Productions, we spent many hours thinking about how we're going to be able to fit all of our stuff in this. And it should, by the dimensions listed on the website, it should fit. Now, I went with options. So the first one, you get 2 of those to make sure it fits. The second one, that's for all the cameras. It's a phone box. That'll be a separate thing. But the top trunk should fit our desktop, our monitors, and other items directly into it. So that should be a good thing. So we'll have one box for our desktop monitors and accompanying cords, and another box for all the other cables that we have. So yes.
All right, thank you, Vice President Brown.
My question is, I didn't even notice there was 2 cases, but so we're approving if we approve 2,000 and say the shipping's not too bad, would it be possible to add a 3rd box in case? Like we look at it like shipping's gonna be this much, like we can get another box in there. That's still acceptable, right?
You know what? I don't have.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something we'll do if we need another box.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no point in buying one that's if we don't if it doesn't fit.
That was just kind of a recommendation / question. So.
Okay, thank you. Any further, Senator Andrews?
If I may direct the question to Vice President Lester.
I just keep on looking at me and I'm like, yeah. Look into my eyes.
Do you have a contingency plan if it doesn't work?
That's a great question.
That's not extra box.
Plan B is slightly different. Would be modifying the boxes, but the amount of space in the 2 boxes on the top should give us plenty of room.
All right. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor of approving not to exceed $2,000 for locking storage containers for ASMJC video equipment out of 71 equipment, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? With that, the motion passes. We'll go down to not to exceed $2,500 to Freedom Forum Scholarship Dinner out of 71 Club Development. I think the supporting documents are down below that. So with that, what's the recommendation from the ICC?
It was a positive recommendation.
Do we have a rep from Freedom Forum?
If you want
Yep.
me. Sure.
No, well, okay, go ahead, speak on it.
Okay, so the Freedom Forum it's the nonpartisan political science club on campus. They do an annual scholarships dinner every year hosted by a vast array of political speakers. Last year we had, or not last year, the year before last year we had Adam Gray and the president of the California Voter Association. The year before that we had Virginia Medueno, the former mayor of Riverbank, and also Jose Hernandez, who was at the time a congressional candidate. This year our theme is education and the whole student success initiative, something that some of you may or may not know anything about. So that is this whole funding that would be approved here today pays for these catering.
Thank you. Let's see, Vice President Brown, then Senator Rollins. Go ahead.
All right. I'm removing my hand from the table.
Okay. Senator Razzo.
Second.
Move to approve. Second. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor of approving not to exceed $2,500 for to the Freedom Forum Scholarship Dinner out of 71 Club Development, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? With that, the motion carries. We'll move on to item 9/10, which is not to exceed $702 for Spirit Week out of 71 Benefits Program. We'll scroll down, and then this is a project from one more.
Okay.
This is a project I believe Senator Raza will be speaking on. So, Senator Raza, you have the floor.
Oh, whoa, hello.
Too big.
I'm working on this with Mr. Griffin. Reason being is because last semester I got here around 6:30 in the morning, and there was a big line of students trying to get their Scantrons, and they were all going to be late for their final. Some of them didn't have any money. I had a few Scantrons, I gave it to them. So I just feel like if we're trying to help the students, let's get them some Scantrons before their final, so they don't have no problem getting late there. Also, I feel like when I have a donut and coffee, it helps me a lot better to concentrate on my test. So I was thinking that we could provide some donuts and coffee as well. As you can see there, there's me and Mr. Griffin did the math and we did some calling. $250 daily for donuts would provide 375 students a day. There would be 750 donuts for the 2 days that I'm planning to do it. Mr. Griffin suggested that we do a cash advance. That being because I guess the bill for the donuts of Club Rush has not been paid yet, and they're not real happy with us. So if we do a cash advance, we would just go pick it up with cash and come back. I want to do advertising so the students know what we're doing. I ordered, not ordered, but Mr. Gibbons suggested 400 postcards. That would be 40 cents, no, it would be 40 cents a piece. So it would be $80 for the whole thing. 40 posters, $32 for the whole thing, 80 cents a piece. Banner, I put the question mark on there because I know we do a lot of events with donuts and coffee and free stuff. So I was wondering if you guys wanted to do a banner to keep it at ASMJC and have it for future events. Also, Mr. Griffin suggested that we put a sedan and the mileage in the budget in case we needed a car to pick up the donuts or whatever we need. And the total came down to $702.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion on the floor? Vice President Brown?
I move to approve this item.
Do we have a second? Moved in second. Do we have any discussion on this item? Senator Cook and then Senator Andrews.
Yeah, for the advertising, are we going through duplicating or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Senator Andrews.
When is it?
It's finals week, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. I was saying Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tuesday and Wednesday are finals week. I think I saw your hand first. Yeah.
I just have a clarification.
Yeah.
They have all the receipts and everything for Mr. T's. So
That's not germane to this. Okay. Vice President Weaver.
No, just East. Reason being, I can only do these 2 days. I mentioned that to Speaker Reed. If I can mention it to the ICC, she said, "Why should we help you guys if you guys always turn us down?"
Okay.
So I don't have nothing. No, nobody else to help me. So I'm saying I can only do these 2 days.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any further discussion on this item? Senator Andrews.
What time?
I'm gonna start at, it was 9 in the morning?
9 in the morning.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I take it until we run out?
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor of approving $702 for Spirit Week out of 71 benefit programs, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? With that, the motion carries. We'll move on to item 10/11, not to exceed $1,500 for Cesar Chavez Day out of 71 cultural diversity. The budget breakdown is right below that one, and I believe we have a presentation here, so I'll cede the floor over to the, I believe, the Metro representative.
Hi everyone, my name's Edgar Jesus Yepez. I'm one of the co-chairs of Metro, and
yeah, there we go.
So yeah, roughly, we estimated it for, you know, like it's like roughly $1,300. We just asked for the $1,500 for a little wiggle room, but I don't think I think it's gonna be a little shy of $1,300. So hopefully, you know, we could get back $200 or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we're planning on having 2 guest speakers. One of them being Lydia Chavez. She's a niece of Cesar Chavez, so it's Cesar Chavez's sister's kid. And she's coming all the way from San Jose to come. And we're also having another guest speaker, Felix. I'm blanking out on the last name, but he was really involved with the movement with Cesar Chavez as well. And we're having some Aztec dancers. They're based out of Stockton. They're Danza Azteca Osolet. And it's going to be roughly like 7 dancers. And they have like a whole ceremony. And we're also having some folklorico dancers, and they're actually they're starting up, so they're doing it for free. So it's really cool on their part. And the speakers are also going to be all free. What we need the money for is just for the food, which it's going to be provided from Mi Tierra, and it's going to be we're serving tacos. And then with the tacos, there'll also be salsa, cilantro, and cebolla. And we'll be giving out waters, and we're planning to do, a slight fundraising for our club. We're going to be selling aguas frescas, which will be horchata and agua de Jamaica. And the supplies as well, that one is I already did it at Costco. It's going to come out to 136. And that's pretty much all I can think of as of right now.
All right, thank you for your presentation.
What was that? Originally it was March 31st, which that's the day of Cesar Chavez's birthday, and it's a state holiday. Should be on every calendar, at least in California. And but due to some of the paperwork, it wasn't feasible, so we're switching it to April 13th, which will land on a Monday, and it'll be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. What was that? East Campus, yeah, sorry. Yeah. East Campus. 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. April 13th.
All right.
Put on your calendar.
I'll entertain a motion. Senator Tafoya.
I move not to exceed 1,500 for Cesar Chavez Day out of 71 cultural diversity.
Do we have a second? Moved and seconded.
Yeah.
All right. Moved and seconded. Discussion. Vice President Brown.
As I typically always do with clubs, is there any cash advance in their budget? Can we add one? If they would like to accept.
Latest information, this is from meetings with Gregos. We cannot add money onto the original request unless the club can justify it. So with that, do you guys have a cash advance already in place?
Not right now.
Okay, it's something to keep in mind as we develop the documents, but we can't add money onto it unless they can justify it. So we can only have what's presented with us. Plus they have a $200 wiggle room, which you guys can go ahead and play with as well. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move this to a vote. All in favor of approving not to exceed $1,500 for Cesar Chavez Day out of 71 cultural diversity, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? With that, the motion passes.
We're done.
All right. With that, we'll move back to the original order of the agenda, which is presentations and introductions. We have nothing under special orders. We do have unfinished business, consideration, and possible action. This is a not to exceed $25,000 for the laptop program out of 71 equipment. This is all the way towards the top on our supporting docs. Senator Acosta.
That's right, that's me. All right, so I had gone through Best Buy to find all the hardware for this project. It's been a long time coming. I've heard from the very start of this term that some of the laptops that we do have for the executives are a little outdated. I've also heard that even in our own libraries, kids with disabilities don't really have access to computers that they can use at their own free will because apparently some of them just don't have the capabilities of using them. And so I went through Best Buy. I found a couple computers that they may seem rather expensive, but they are actually really worth the money. They're some of the latest equipment you can get. They're the 2 and flip laptops, whereas it means you can flip it over and use it as a tablet if you choose to. It's 15 inches. It has a touchscreen laptop, so I mean it's kind of different in a way. It's got i7, so basically like the latest software. It's the most current one, and it has a terabyte of memory on there, so I mean you could just about save anything you ever want and never run out of memory. So the price for that actually comes out to $999.99 per unit. Well, with the tax, the total would be for each unit would be about $1,500. The reason why they're so expensive is, like I stated, just all of the things that are on this laptops are some of the latest things that are out for technology. And I was just told by, I believe the man's name was Rick at Best Buy, is that these laptops would have a expectancy of about 5+ years. So we will actually never have to replace these computers for quite some time. And on top of that, they do have these graphics cards, I guess, NVIDIA, so they can actually be used very well with the broadcasting equipment. So if they were to be used here, then I guess they wouldn't have a problem with that. I've also included a couple HDMI cables that would actually go towards the library. So if they choose to use those laptops and project them onto the televisions that we do provide in the library, is that I've noticed hardly go used, and they can have that option. So the other thing that I also listed on here was the briefcases for them, and this is strictly for the executives, because I figured if you're going to spend about $1,500 per unit, you're going to want to keep it protected. And not only that, it has all the accessibilities on it for anything that you're going to be carrying, extra tablets, your cell phone, pencils, notepads, whatever have you. And each one of those would cost out to I believe they're $31.49 for each one, but for the 8 that we do need for the executives would actually come out to $238.83. And the last piece of this little project here is I guess essentially what is going to be needed for the laptops in the library, and that's the Dragon speaking software. Whereas so what it does is, if you don't know, is it actually allows people who can't have the capabilities of using their hands to use laptops or desktop computers. They could actually speak to the computers and have them run the programs for them, do the typing for them, send out emails, play music, go on browsers, just basically everything that we could do. And each one of those would actually come out to $129.99, and in total for, I believe, is 6 of them would be $839.41. And I had spoken to Jose Raza about this before, and it was, if he believes that that software would be efficient for students with disabilities, and he actually approved of it. He said it was a great software to have for those computers. So I think it's really the best way to go about it, with going with the premium software. So I mean, with everything here, I just think that it may seem a little expensive, but it's really worth the money. I mean, like I said, I was told by the people at Best Buy that these computers would last us 5 years, if not more, before we even have to think about replacing them. So it's not only just investing in our own AS, but also into our students by providing them for the library.
All right, thank you. With that, I believe we did have 3 quotes, and this was the cheapest alternative, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. We'll entertain a motion on the floor. Vice President Brown.
I move to approve not to exceed $25,000 for laptop program.
Do we have a second? Moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion on this item? Senator Andrews.
I have a question in regards to where the $500 plus in tax comes from.
What do you mean, for the laptops themselves?
Yeah, is that $9.99 and everything in tax? Does that include all the the briefcase?
I'm sorry. I guess the explanation is in each one of them would be installed with the software program.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Vice President Weaver.
I'm going to make a suggestion, then ask to amend, and I'll explain why. The Dragon software requires special headsets, because I have that program, so I'd like to move to amend to add $600 for 8 at $70, because I just bought one, so I know what it needs, to give him $600. So I'd like to add $600 to the total price, which I don't know what the price was again.
$24,800. What we're giving them additionally, that's considered a gift of public funds, to what's been explained to me. All right, so we have Senator Razzo and then Senator Vice President.
We're talking on the amendment or on the...
We're talking about the amendment of adding, what was it, $600? Okay. Adding an additional $600. You're done? Okay. Vice President Westbrook.
Okay. 2 questions. Okay. Question 1, is ASMJC allowed to purchase computers outside the approved vendors? That's question 1, and then question 2 sort of point of information comes from the Brown Act about the agenda being posted and it being on the agency's internet website. So that is for a later one, but I'm just bringing that up as well. But yeah. Is ASMJC allowed to purchase computers outside the approved vendors?
Yes.
Okay.
We go ahead and fill out other documents. It makes it a lot easier to go off and purchase things from the approved vendor list, but we can go ahead and do that. Vice President, Senator
Chair,
Acosta. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the only time that we actually do have to go through our recommended vendors if we're actually replacing the laptops or desktops for the
$23.54. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. You might want to reconfigure that number because I believe I said it was 6 laptops. It'd be 6 headsets. I think it's because the other 8 laptops would be going toward the executives, and then the 6 would be going towards the library.
I think 6 are going to the library. So 3 and 3.
Yeah, we'll do that.
You think so?
You never know if we have an executive that goes into
If we can keep all of them are coming with the Dragon software, correct, Senator Acosta? Brown.
Okay, the reason I'm saying that when Executive Vice President Weaver suggested 8, something had clicked. The fact that we should get the other 2, because I know that he only has 6 scheduled for the library. If we get the extra 2, say we have executive officers who could use that program, we should keep the 2 extra in the office for that reason.
Okay. So right now we have, the price you gave me is for the 8, right? Okay. Senator Tafoya.
I have a question. So, you said that there was laptops already previously bought for executives, but like, where are those at?
Those are stored in the back office, and some of them have been checked out, but they're already antiquated and slow running. Any further discussion? We're still on the amendment, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Any further discussion related to the amendment, Senator Razzo?
So he's purchasing Dragon for 6 laptops, and like Vice President Brown said, if we have someone that needs the program in the executives, the program, can it be installed in the executive laptops?
Senator Acosta.
So what I can do is when you ask me to do that myself, I could actually just add an extra 1 or 2 for the executives, and that way with the additional 2 headsets, it'll be completely covered.
Did that answer your question? All right. Any further discussion on the amendment? Vice President Borges.
So right now, I know we discussed this already, but you have 6 of them that you're going to get the Dragon natural speaking. You have 6 budgeted for the software.
Right. So
and so that means you'd have to not only add the headsets to it, but you'd also have to add 2 more software to that too. So that would you're probably going to increase it at what? You're 600, so almost just with that. About $1,000.
Okay. Deputy Speaker Tumlin.
I have a question. Those dragons are by voice activated, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So let's say, for instance, Senator Razzo went in there, and there was another student. After those 6 have been done, don't they have to, each one of them have to be updated by voice, by the other student's voice?
I'm not 100% sure on that. Senator Razzo?
Well, I think the software, you can put as many voices as you want, just make their account. Just like Blackboard or whatever, you just make your own account. And train the computer to your voice.
Okay.
That's all you need.
Okay. All right, really quickly, let's go ahead and keep discussion to the amendment, which is the additional $600. So do we have any further discussion on the amendment?
I have information.
All right, Senator Andrews and then Member
I was
Poli.
going to move for his question.
Do you still have it? Are you moving it? Okay. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. All in favor of moving the previous question, please say aye.
Aye. So that's a 2/3 vote. So you can't do a voice vote.
Oh, I can't.
Just no objections.
All right. Is there any objection to moving the previous question? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and go back to the amendment which is on the floor, which is move to amend an additional $600 onto the price to cover the 8 additional headset units. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? Are you objecting? No? Okay. I saw your hand. No? Okay. With that being said, the amendment passes. We're back to the perfected motion, which would be, if the math is correct, not to exceed $25,423.54 for the
Just $25,600. Because you're
plus
not to exceed. You're your original motion was to not to exceed $25,000. So because she.
So would it be
25,600.
Okay, so thank you for clarifying that. So the perfected motion is not to exceed $25,000 for the laptop program out of 71 equipment, plus an additional $600 for 8 additional head units. With that, Senator Andrews.
Move to amend the perfected motion to rate not to exceed $25,600 pending finance approval. This is not been approved by finance.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Is there
question or discussion?
Is there a discussion on the amendment? On the amendment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, because it's been amended to approve the 25,000 plus 600, but as Brad, myself, and Acosta all stated earlier, along with Executive Vice President Weaver, we're going to be possibly adding 2 more programs. So now we're under what we need to be at, and we've been.
I hate to cut you off, but the amendment is just adding finances.
I know, but we're still approving money under what it may need to be approved.
That's not the amendment. You have to debate the amendment. That being a main motion.
I tried to sneak it in there, but.
All right. Thank you for clarifying that. Any discussion on the amendment, which is to not to exceed $26,000 with the approval?
25,600.
Oh, I'm sorry. 25,600 with the approval of the Finance Committee. Any discussion on this amendment? Senator Acosta.
So to justify what Kyle had stated a little earlier,
Yes.
so what I'm going to do during this revision of the budget is I'm going to try to contact their corporate businesses and see if we can actually add these extra items and at the same time reduce the price by buying in such a large quantity.
Okay. All right. Relate to the amendment? All right.
Well, related to what Alex just said, I know because I was involved with purchasing Dragon, naturally speaking, that we have an account we have business with them, and we do get a reduced rate, and the headsets are actually included.
Okay. Thank you for that. Yeah. All right. Can we? All right. Thank you. Any further discussion on this amendment, which is a $25,600 amendment? Hearing none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? With that, the amendment passes. We're now to the perfected motion, which is not to exceed $25,600 for the laptop program out of 71 equipment with the approval of the Finance Committee, correct? All right, any discussion on the main motion now? All right. Hearing none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor of approving item A under unfinished business, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? With that, the motion carries. We'll move down to consent calendar for February. I know we're, that's a typo. We're in March, aren't we? Yeah. If there's no objections, we can go ahead and change that to March. Hearing none, we'll change it to March. A motion for the consent calendar. Vice President Brown.
I move to approve the consent calendar as a whole.
Moved and seconded. Are there any objections to approving the consent calendar as a whole? Hearing none, we'll go down to business consideration and possible action. Vice President Brown.
I move to suspend the orders of the day to move items 3 and 4 under executive above 1 and 2.
All right. Is there a second for this item? Second. It's been moved and seconded. The simple majority. Yeah. All in favor of approving moving items 3 and 4 under executive to above the very low plaque, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections?
No.
Oh,
sorry.
Any abstentions? Hearing none, it's been moved. The first one that I have on my list is a formal apology. Senator Andrews.
Move to extend time to 3:30.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any objections to extending time to 3:30? Hearing none, we've moved time to 3:30. So, formal apology. I already went ahead and spoke with Advisor Lasota, and I apologize already behind closed doors, but nonetheless, one more time, sorry for going ahead and moving against the confirmation of your contract. As I explained, it wasn't anything personal. It was more or less the fact that the process, in my opinion, wasn't followed with the student's voice being out there. I hope you accept my apology with that being said. And to me, the personal apology that I went ahead and gave you yesterday would be more sincere rather than one that's being required of me. But for the record, I apologize for that. Okay? You're welcome. Vice President Brown.
Thank you for that. The formal apology wasn't actually directed to come from you. During this section, I wanted to offer a formal apology on behalf of myself and any other members of the Senate that would like to accept that formal apology, to state to Advisor Lasota that not all of us felt the same way and that we're sorry that those actions were taken against you. That's my formal apology.
I'm not really sure what's going apologize for what again?
That would be in the debrief.
That'll be in the debrief.
Oh.
Yeah.
Check that out now.
And what about our last
It's not on the agenda. Is it related to the apology? Go ahead.
I'd like to ask that President Ruiz, as you spoke on behalf of the students in the Senate, I just have a great concern that you would bring it to the Senate and allow our voices to be heard, considering you were going and objecting to the process that didn't allow the students' voices to be heard. I just consider that very hypocritical, actually.
I actually didn't speak as a president. I actually spoke during public comment as a student. I hope that clarifies that. With that, we'll move on to the AIR denial. Would you mind explaining? Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. I think everyone kind of got it. I guess there's been some stuff going around about denials of AIRs, and I would I hate all this behind closed doors stuff as much as all of us may participate in it, me not being an exception. I just want to kind of hear from the president, what's going on with the denials. Do we have a reason for denying them? Should we be concerned? I don't know how to word it properly, but that's my concerns to you.
Yeah, without a doubt. Look, there haven't been denials. I can tell you that.
Well, denials isn't rejected from being put on. That's what I mean. I didn't know how to word it properly.
They haven't been rejected. It's more of a timing issue. I have never gone off and rejected an AIR. I can tell you that. I would assume you're referencing the email that was sent out Senate-wide. The first one, as I responded to Speaker Reed, there needs to be a memorandum stating the alleged charges. If you go through our Constitution and bylaws, above that, for the removal of any executive officer or senator, it says that there needs to be any charges. I went ahead and mentioned that to her, and I haven't received any memorandum for that. That's why that wasn't placed on this agenda. I've consulted with Dean Robles with this, and she agrees with the fact that a statement of the charges need to be filed before we can move forward with that. That explains that.
Just that one, though.
No, I'll keep on going, but I'll address the four that I'm aware of.
That's all I'm aware of as well. So that's why I had nothing.
The other one, the financial reports, I can tell you that I went ahead and forwarded all of those I sent that AIR request to Jason, and I went ahead and let him go ahead and review it. Can we keep electronic devices off the table other than the secretary?
Oh, it was just something to bring up during this item.
Well, that's the point. That's the whole point behind it. We need to keep electronic devices off the table and not use them. With that being said, I forwarded the agenda item request out to to Vice President Mendez, and I didn't necessarily feel that it was necessary to go ahead and have a specific item because that's something that he can report on during his report.
Okay.
All right. Similar to the accountability reports with Executive Vice President Weaver, I sent that agenda item request to her so that she could go ahead and be prepared, and it was going to be reported out during her report under executive.
Okay.
And then the March and March, I did not receive an AIR for March and March for the debrief. I already went ahead and scanned through all of my emails, both agenda item requests from the Deputy Speaker or any reference of March and March, and I did not receive any. If for some reason I did overlook it, I'd be more than happy to go ahead and engage in conversation with Speaker Reed to go ahead and have her send me the email with the timestamp on it, and I will be showing that at the next Senate meeting. Does that address your concerns?
Yeah, that's your response to the answer.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Campbell.
So the items that were just this round denied, because there have been quite a few, I know my items always get denied, were one, the removal of the executive secretary. So I want to continue citing this because it has already been cited before. Under Article 25, Section 3, Procedure for the Executive Secretary for the Discipline, It clearly states the executive secretary may be dismissed from office by the president or a 2/3 vote of the student senate. That is a completely separate section from the procedure from the executive officers and senators. You made a constitutional ruling, and you are not the legislative authority of this organization, and you denied an agenda item request from a student and officer of the organization. 2 is the monthly finance report, which I know has been requested many times. It is required in the bylaws, Article 2, Section 5, Clause C, that this report be given monthly, and it's never been given. The third one was March and March. Maybe you didn't get it, maybe it wasn't given. Either way, bylaws Article 9, Section 8, Clause D says that all events will be debriefed. Why wasn't the March and March debriefed? And then the other one that I know of was the accountability report. Again, under Article 2, Section, what's it called? The article section for the executive vice president, it states that she will give monthly accountability reports. So I don't understand why that was denied. I just don't get it.
I'm sorry. Why do they have to be on the agenda? Why can't they be in their reports that are already put on the agenda?
Well, what if they were submitted by a student who wanted to see them on the agenda? Why were they denied?
But it's already in.
Really quick. I already went ahead and stated that in my opinion, there wasn't a justification to go ahead and put a specific line on the agenda for that, because it already falls under the reports portion of it. There's already a portion of the agenda segmented to go off and for us to report out on our responsibilities. Whether or not those executive officers are doing it or not, that somewhat falls outside of my realm of control. But I can tell you that we've done to the best of our abilities. We've done to the best of our abilities our abilities to go off and report on what our responsibilities are. Vice President Weaver.
I would just like to request that the reply that you sent these on to the executives be sent to anyone, whatever your plan is, not requesting back from them, but communicating what you did with them. So when you sent it on to me, that person knows that you are acting on it. And I think that may be some of what is in this situation. So I just like to request that you always reply, no matter what. If it's if you have to wait a while or whatever, just to let you know, just reply.
Okay.
That would be very helpful.
All right, thank you. Trustee Campbell.
So under your section of the bylaws, it says that you will act as chair of the student senate, and therefore, as the chair, you will create the agenda for its meetings. It's pretty obvious to me, and assuming other students, that you are kind of overstepping your authority as the chair of this body, and maybe for the next meeting, I'd like to make a personal request that you do not chair it, and have the executive vice president or a non-biased designee draft the agenda and run this meeting, where agenda item requests from your students and your officers will not be overlooked.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your request. Any further discussion on this item? Senator Raza.
I just want to remind everybody, we're here to help the students, not to fight each other. And like, okay, we are a new administration. We've been learning. The old administration did their thing, they know more. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, why are we even fighting over this? You know, we're supposed to help the students, not fight each other, not put each other down, throw each other under the bus. You know, that could have been done last year with many things that were going on in the Senate last year, but no one did it. You know, I don't understand why we still have to do it this year and throw people under the bus this year. You know, what's the problem here? That's what I want to know. What's the problem?
Thank you for that. With that, Senator Dana.
Hi, I have a question comment.
Yeah.
I know that we all received different placards for our names, except President Andrew. I'm not sure if he received a new card as well as we did.
Yeah. And what's your comment?
I'm just asking if he received a new card with his current title trustee.
No. Actually, that's not a placard that I went ahead and created. It's one that was made by himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Any further discussion on the ARI denial? ARI denial?
I am claiming, one sec, I'm claiming point of information, question from Scott. Why was the agenda not posted on the ASMJC website in the time period according to the Brown Act?
You mean the Dropbox? Or?
Yes, well,
Okay.
I think it's just anywhere on the website.
Okay. You know what? It was an oversight on my end.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, that's the question.
I'll do a better job of going off and posting it on the Dropbox and as well as the minutes now that they've been approved.
Point of
All right.
information, is
Yeah.
that a Brown Act violation? Correct?
According to Scott of what he posted in the chat room, shout out to Scott. Camera 2, Scott, we love you. Thanks for watching. It says, and the local agency's internet website if the local agency has one. That's under Brown Act 54942A1. And that's talking about the 72 hours before regular meeting. And it's talking about shall post the agenda containing a brief general description of each item of the business to be transacted or discussed at the meeting, including items to be disclosed in the closed session. A brief general description of the idea, generally not to exceed 20 words. That's a different thing. The agenda shall specify time, location of the regular meeting and shall be posted in location that is freely accessible to the members of the public and on the local agency's internet website if the local agency has one. So that was what the question was based on.
Okay. Yeah. I can tell you that it wasn't uploaded there. I will do a better job of going off and having that respected as well.
Okay.
I don't know what we will go off and do. Maybe once I upload it, I will just include a link so that everybody can see that. Yes.
What I will do is I'll try to see if I can throw out a spot on there for agendas. So
Okay.
They can be posted up there.
Okay.
Point of order?
In the Dropbox.
On the Dropbox. Yeah.
Okay.
Point
All
of
right.
order?
Yes.
The question was never answered.
Yeah. What was your question?
The question was.
No, my question, my point of
Mm-hmm.
information was, isn't that a Brown Act violation? Yes or no?
Oh,
not to reference what Scott's at. Not ask Scott. I'm asking the president. Is that not a Brown Act violation?
I am going to go ahead and ask him to read out that excerpt again. I didn't get the
Okay,
whole of it.
so thank you again.
I'm not a Brown Act expert.
Again, thank you, Scott. So this is talking about. Let's scroll down the chat. Talking about Brown Act 54954.2.(a)(1) pertaining to this at least 72 hours before a regular meeting. And as we go down to the part about the internet thing, the agenda shall specify time and location of the regular meeting and shall be posted in a location that's freely accessible to the members of the public and on the local agency's internet website if the local agency has one. That is what I have here to base the question off of.
Okay.
And Scott commented, it said it would be a Brown Act violation. ...
So, point of information, aren't Brown Act violations impeachable actions? Scott?
Well, we're going to wait 27 seconds.
All right.
To respond.
Scotty.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know exactly what to go ahead and do with that. If it's at your discretion or you feel that strongly about it, you're more than welcome to go ahead and move forward with that.
Okay, I'll point of information. That was all.
All right. Thank you. ARR denials. Now the next thing is a burial plaque.
Do you have hands?
No, I was just...
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was just going to ask if we can move on with business.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Andrews. Berry Hill plaque, we're looking at designing, taking an aerial picture of this west campus over here and plotting the benches and everything like that. So I'll let you guys know when that comes up. Stipend recommendation.
Oh, we have that. Yes, I have. 1 sec.
Point of information, who's taking minutes?
I'll take the notes for the rest of this. Go ahead.
Sorry. Had to wait. Goodbye, Brad.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead and start taking the notes. For the rest of this. Yes. I'm figuring that out right now. So there's 11 right now present. And out of those, 1, 2,
There's 18 members, voting members.
11. So it has to be 10. So yeah, we're still good. We still have. So we need 2 people. Yes. No, they don't count for quorum. So we need. We're still good by 2 people. So stipend recommendation. We have the stipend recommendation presented in front of you. There are some of the line items that have been zeroed out, either because of vacancies or because they already know beforehand that they declare they won't be taking a stipend in general. Do we have any discussion on this? No? Trustee Campbell.
Based on the plethora of issues brought up in today's meeting, I'd recommend that the Senate not approve your stipend.
Would anybody like to adopt that motion?
What?
That I don't get paid.
Point of information, do you even submit one, or are you just putting it up to the thing? Because I've never heard you submitting one.
Yeah, I've been submitting one.
So you've been submitting one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Would anybody like to adopt that motion? Hearing none, thank you for your statement. Is there any further discussion on this? With that being said, if there are no objections, we'll go ahead and adopt the stipend recommendation for March. Hearing none, it's been adopted. We'll move down. That's pretty much it. Operations. I know that their first meeting is going to, well, one of the next scheduled meeting is going to be on Wednesday. I don't have the time exactly for it, but I'll definitely make sure to send out the agenda Senate-wide. Trustee Campbell.
Can we get to my report? We have 5 minutes.
If somebody would like to make that motion. Do we have a second? Moved and seconded. We'll move down to, is there an objection to moving down? Yes.
Well, I just feel like we should keep going in the order we are if we've been doing it.
Yeah. All right. You know what? If it is an objection, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor of breaking the order and going on to the trustee report, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 11. Yes.
Can we postpone 5 more minutes, or is that not possible?
Extend time by 5 minutes?
Yes.
If you'd like to make that motion.
I move to extend time
Oh,
for 5 more minutes.
well, yeah, we're on the main motion.
Oh.
Never mind. Hold on a second. So it was, what was it, 7? And we have 11 members. That passes, right? Yeah. All right. So now we're on to trustee reports.
Okay. The reason I wanted to break the order, I apologize for going out of order, but a lot of you guys had questions about what happened at the Board of Trustees meeting. At the last Board of Trustees meeting on Wednesday, it's the body that I sit on as the student representative, the president, the executive secretary, and Senator Ledesma all showed up to speak during public comment, granted as students, not necessarily as officers, but let's be honest, when you go anywhere as an officer of this organization, you're recognized as an officer of this organization. And they spoke against the appointment. This is the official confirmation of the employment of our new advisor, Leticia. They suggested that there was no student participation and that was a serious concern, something that would normally be a serious concern for students, if we had no student participation on a hiring committee for our personal advisor. This went on for some time. The board asked their questions. They got to the official vote, and when it came to the official vote, it was Executive Secretary Keith who requested that the vote be postponed until the hiring committee could be reformed with a student member appointed by the president or himself personally. It was then brought up by the Chancellor, Joan Smith, of the entire district, that she had emails forwarded to her from the Human Resources Department where over the course of, I'd say, anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks, Dean Robles was in communication with President Robieto asking, we're putting together the hiring committee for the advisor. Do you want a student on it? Do you want to be on it yourself? What's going on? 1 week later, again, another email. 1 week later, the meetings start happening, and I guess I don't know how quickly or how soon it was to the actual meeting taking place, but they finally received a response saying that President Robieto would not be able to attend and was hoping to send another designee. So I do think it was pretty disrespectful that those 3 students did attend that meeting to speak on behalf of this organization with concerns that we were not consulted and did not have our voices heard in the hiring of Leticia when the opportunity was there the entire time. And furthermore, I did follow up with President Stearns, the college president, the Vice Chancellor of Human Resources, and the new advisor to recommend, kind of like what you guys did earlier, that those 3 students did not speak on behalf of myself or the rest of the student body. I honestly do think that Leticia is doing a spectacular job. So that's what happened at the Board of Trustees meeting, and I'm pretty concerned about how it all went down.
What is that?
Could you speak to why you didn't reply to those emails and appoint someone? Because I know with the Finance Committee appointed Camille overnight. So with those many emails, could you just maybe share why you didn't follow up?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
I move to extend time for another 15 minutes to the 45 mark.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of extending time to 3:45, please say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Can you jot this down, please? So everybody, with the exception of Razo, Tafoya, and Tengaluk. Any abstentions? All right, with that, we've extended time to 3:45. What is it? Oh, your emails. I did respond to them. There was a January 15th date that was stated. I do not have an email from that. I have one for Tuesday, the week before. And I did respond back to them. As a matter of fact, I responded back when I got the time and the date for it the morning of at 7:32. I know that the advisor responded, read the email at 7:34, but never heard back from them. So considering there's only to the communications that I have, only a week to go ahead and less than a week to go ahead and get this done, there was not enough time, and that's part of the reason why I went ahead and spoke as a student for this.
My question was, why didn't you appoint someone?
I did have somebody that was going in. Huh?
Who did you appoint?
The only person that I knew was available was Secretary Keith.
So with all of the Senate, I'm very concerned. The fact that you would turn to an appointed position person and not send an email to the Senate and say, would someone step up and sit on this committee?
Point of privilege.
I don't understand why you didn't appoint someone.
Thank you. Yes.
Just for clarification, I've requested via email, person, and on record meeting to be on any hiring committee. Now, you have granted me the access to the counselor's position, which I was very grateful for. But I in these cases, I do like to recommend myself. Human Resources Manager was my major, so just again referencing to that, I would like to offer for those positions.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Campbell.
If we're asking questions, I would love to know why the chain of command was not followed. I'll reference a document that most of the Senate has not seen. It's called the President's Informational Binder. It's what I handed to Luis on the day that I left office and he took office.
I'm sorry, we have to leave.
Okay. With that, we lose quorum.
Well, until they leave the room, we still have quorum.
All right.
So why wasn't the campus hierarchy and chain of command followed?
I can tell you that my first point of contact is Dean Robles. We meet up on Tuesday, and that's when I was initially going to go ahead and consult with her. With that being said, Dean Robles never showed up for our meeting, so I never had an opportunity to go ahead and do that. I didn't want to go ahead and step her boundaries or things.
Vice President Student Services, college president, chancellor of the district, or even me.
We just lost
no communication.
We just lost quorum. We're adjourning the meeting at 3:30. Exactly 3:30.
Well, my laptop costed.
I don't put any details, right? Just the objections and just the quorum time.
Who makes the motion, the fact that it was seconded, and any objections.
Extending time was, I didn't get that, was he made the motion?
It was Vice President Brown.
Said you could do it? And then who seconded that?
She told you. She said you could do it.
Well, we haven't approved money for it. That's why it hasn't been on the calendar. Yeah. Okay. No, yeah. Thank you.